Hello everyone, Namaste and Salaam Alaikum. Welcome to my session, people. Hi, this is Maria Khan, your master teacher of biology here at Vedantu. And today I have come up with a very interesting topic. Today I am going to debunk all the taboos which are prevalent in our society around menstruation. Yes, people. So today I am going to address all the girls, all the women, all the female colleagues around me who have ever been restricted for entering into a temple, entering into their own kitchen, cooking, touching any kind of food items, offering prayers, touching a holy book, or any other stuff. Even I really want to ask all the men out there who are watching this particular session, like, have you ever experienced your mom, your sister, your female colleague been restricted from doing all these kind of activities? If yes, my session is exactly for you all, because I am really going to debunk all the myths around menstruation. So people, hit on the like button, share, subscribe, and yes, let's get started. So people, the very first myth: a menstruating woman is impure, sick, and even cursed. Is it true? No, it's nowhere closer to reality. Okay, so very first thing, a woman when she bleeds, it is blood. Second, it is the unfertilized egg, okay, along with mucus and the degenerating tissues of her inner lining of the uterus, okay. So yeah, scientifically it is a composition, it's a mixture of all these stuffs. But let me be very clear: when we call or when we consider a blood to be impure, when it is contaminated with pathogens, when it is having any kind of pathogen disease causing agent, and I did not mention disease causing agent or pathogen for a single time when I told you the composition of a menstrual blood, right? So it's containing blood, blood capillaries, tissues of degenerating endometrium, unfertilized egg. That's it, and mucus. Yeah. So people, the blood which is shed by a woman, it is 100% pure, and that's the reason why women is also 100% pure. Okay, she is not at all sick, she is 100% normal. When a woman experiences regular menstrual cycle, it is actually an indication of good menstrual health, good reproductive health, and yes, she's absolutely 100% healthy. Okay, and is she even cursed? No, not at all. Rather, I say a woman is actually blessed when she gets her menstruation, when she experiences a regular menstrual cycle. People, when a woman experiences menstrual cycle, it is a change. It is a change in her body. And during this menstrual cycle, one egg is released every month. And if the egg gets fertilized with the sperm, she might just get pregnant. So, yeah, the transformation of a woman into mother, the transition from womanhood to motherhood is enabled just because of this amazing, wonderful biological cycle. And that's the reason why all those three myths are absolutely baseless. Okay? So, yeah, people, a woman is not at all impure. The blood she sheds is not at all impure. The process is 100% natural. It's a natural biological cycle. It's a healthy process that a body undergoes regularly. Okay, and the menstrual fluid is mixture of blood, unfertilized egg, tissues of the degenerating endometrium. Right? So yeah, chalo, first myth is debunked. Chalo, let's move on to the second one. Uh, Women cannot offer prayers and be a part of religious ceremonies, can't touch sacred objects, and should not enter the place of worship. Now, people, is this like logical? No, absolutely illogical. Now, being raised in a Hindu family, my mother, my grandmother, my nani, dadi, both of them, all three of them, like three pillars of my life, all three of them, they raised me in such a way that they told ki, na, you're not supposed to touch the mandir, you're not supposed to offer puja, you are not supposed to go near Lord Ganesha when there is Ganesh Utsav at home. And as a child, I really disliked it massively. Okay, and I remember when I was in class 8 and I was forced to stay at my neighbor's home. There was Ganesh Utsav at my home. We had got this beautiful Ganesha's idol, And here in Maharashtra, there's a huge celebration, and I was forced to stay out of home. I cried like hell back then, and I always asked, ki, why? Means, why am I given this kind of partial treatment? My brother is enjoying, everyone at my home is celebrating, and I was like selectively segregated. Why? Is it like right? No, it's not. Worshipping your God is 100% right. Uh, one can definitely offer prayers. Okay, now on one side, my granny used to say, Kina, you are not supposed to touch any kind of sacred or holy things. Okay, but on the other side, she also used to say, Ki you can keep on chanting Ganesha's name or any Lord's name wherever you want, even if you are taking a bath or you are in a washroom, if you are out there on a street when you are very much scared, it's midnight, or whether you are sleeping, waking up, anytime, every time, 24/7, 365 days, you can chant about the Lord. And then I asked, Ki, then why, Aji? Why I was restricted from offering prayers to Lord Ganesha? So, this is a kind of innocent question asked by every tiny little girl out there who was like restricted from doing all these kind of activities uh, for the very first time after she hit her puberty, right? So, people, point number one, I said it's a natural biological process. I say when a woman experiences regular menstrual cycle, it itself is a blessing from the Almighty nowadays because of lifestyle, food habits, hormonal changes, too much of stress levels. Many girls are experiencing irregular menstrual cycle, irregular periods, and then getting periods itself is a blessing. Having regular menstrual cycle itself is like a cherry on the pie. So this is like it's a gift from the Almighty, and a woman is not at all impure. One can follow all the practices one wishes to, one is willing to do. uh, the only thing is, some people refrain from doing all these activities because no one wishes to, or those individuals wishes, I mean those individuals wish to prevent hurting anyone's religious sentiments, or they themselves want to respect their own religious sentiments. Like my mom, she is quite open minded. She says ki, beta, I don't believe in all these things, but we have been following all these things from years together, and I can't get rid out of it. And I was also raised in such kind of environment. So today I don't believe in any of these myths. But if you personally ask me, ki, ma'am, do you enter a temple when you're menstruating, or do you touch holy books? Do you touch Quran? Do you offer prayers? So I will say, ki, I don't enter into temple. I don't touch any of the idols, or I don't touch any of the holy books. Yes, I don't want to hurt religious sentiments of my mom, granny, my mother-in-law, or anyone around me. I really don't wish to hurt anyone. Prayers I always offer, as my granny says, sukh dukh mein, in every possible situation, there is one power, supreme power you can't see, but who is always there with you, who is there to empower you, and that power never prevents me from praying, from worshipping, from chanting. No. So, yeah, that thing I religiously do, and it hasn't caused any harm to me till date. Okay? Sure. The third myth, she should not cook food or enter into the kitchen. If she does so, she might just spoil the food, and anyone who eats will fall sick. Now, this is totally ridiculous. Okay. Now, in ancient times, when people used to stay in joint families, there used to be too much of work, too much of work. Like my nani says, ki they used to get 5 kg of atta every day and keep on rolling rotis continuously, day and night, for everyone. And this itself was a huge task, right? This is one of the multiple tasks which a woman used to perform back then. Now, to give her body the rest, much required rest that she requires, a menstruating woman was asked to take rest and not enter into the kitchen, so that she should get rest, adequate rest. Okay. Now, resting is one thing, but if she touches any of those food items and the food item getting spoiled due to mere a single touch of the lady, is totally baseless. Rather, last year I met one of my friends, okay, and I asked him, ki, hey, how's your wife? He said, ki, yeah, she's fine. I said, why didn't she come? So he said, ki, oh, she's on her periods and she can't come. And I cooked all the food today, and she's resting now. I said, wow, now you are giving so much of like hashtag couple goals, husband roles, you're playing in the best possible way. He said, Nana, there's no way related to like giving her rest. But if I eat food that has been cooked by her, I feel uncomfortable, I feel feverish, my body starts aching. I just gave a look to him, ki, are you serious? And I said, you are just insane. And I simply chose to walk away, because these are kind of myths which are prevalent in our society and deep rooted in our minds and psychology. But yes, that's the reason why I'm here, to debunk all the myths. So entering into a kitchen won't harm anyone. Maintaining personal hygiene is must, whether menstruating or not menstruating. Maintaining a personal hygiene is must. If a person doesn't maintain personal hygiene, so then definitely anyone and everyone may fall sick. Like, I'm scratching my head and then kneading atta, and then I'm sweating a lot, and again I am like spilling it everywhere, whatever I'm cooking. So then definitely everyone will fall sick, right? So yeah, maintaining hygiene in the kitchen is must. Okay, whether menstruating or not menstruating, whether it's cooked by a woman or a man. Okay, sure. Then the fourth myth: her presence during making any food material like wine, pickle, bread will lead to spoiling. Hello, what is this, man? Nah, acha, acha. So yesterday only, my mama came to my home. She got me a jar of pickle, and I am like least interested in cooking. So she got me a jar of pickle, and she said, "Ki your granny called me up, and she said, ki like every time I make pickle, it gets spoiled. So you like make it for me." So people, wine, pickle, bread, if you see, कि wine and bread, fermentation. Okay. And even when a pickle is made, okay, you put salt, you put oil, and all these acts as a preservative. Now if you don't put adequate oil, if you don't put adequate oil, if you don't put adequate soil, or soil is salt, okay, it will actually encourage microbial growth, microbial contamination, and then of course it will get spoiled. Even in case of wine or bread, okay, for wine and even for bread, yeast is used for fermentation. And when controlled conditions are not observed, other bacteria or maybe other microbes may flourish, and it will lead to the spoiling of that particular food item. So yeah, may it be any kind of preparation, whether it's a fermented food product or it is a non-fermented food product. If you don't maintain sanitation, hygiene, if you don't make it under controlled conditions, of course it's gonna spoil. Okay, it's just a mere coincidence that a lady who was menstruating, she tried making wine and it got contaminated, just because she could not maintain a standard condition. Finish. So yeah, this has been proven wrong with multiple scientific studies. So what else do you want? You now need myth number 5 to be debunked, right? So yeah, a woman can get pregnant with any kind of physical contact with boy after she gets her first period. OMG. Matlab, whether it's a gentle handshake or a kiss or a warm hug or any of those gentle touches, it will lead to pregnancy. Is it? Now kids will laugh, badly laugh. But let me tell you, when I was a school going girl, I really believed in this particular myth. Uh, when I hit puberty, my granny told me, now don't sit next to your brother, don't sleep next to him, don't hang around with the guys, and no, you should refrain from doing all those stuffs. And then I just said, why? So she just gave me a tough look, and then some friends of friends just when we used to gather and have our casual conversations, so someone said ki ordinary kissing can lead to pregnancy. No, it can't. Okay, so we know nowadays the sex education, it's a part and parcel of the school curriculum, school education, class 10, it has in every board, right? And it is much needed as well, because if the youth is being made aware ki which activities, which actions will lead to what consequences, they will definitely refrain from practicing all those kind of activities, right? So people, pregnancy is an outcome of unprotected sexual activity. And yes, it is only this. So yeah, no other casual physical contact may ever lead to pregnancy. It can't. Okay. So yeah, these are all the five myths, and I have debunked it. And now it's time for me to present my opinion. Okay, what according to me is menstruation? What according to me is menstrual cycle? Okay. So uh, when a girl hits her puberty, certain changes occur in her reproductive system, and these changes are repeated every 28 to 30 days. Every 28 to 30 days, these repetitive changes occurs, and these repetitive changes are referred as menstrual cycle. Okay, that's the scientific definition. Okay, now what exactly happens over here, let me tell you. Now, there's a pair of ovaries, two ovaries, right ovary and the left ovary. So, one mature egg is released alternately by either of the ovaries every month. So, let's assume that this particular right ovary, it has released an egg ovum. Okay. Now, people, this ovum actually waits for a sperm to come and fertilize it. Okay, so that it can form a single celled zygote. Now, this will divide and redivide, and it will roll and it will come over here in the uterus, and it will fix itself into the wall of the uterus. And this fixing of the embryo over here is what we call it as implantation. Okay, implantation. And for the implantation to occur, this uterine wall, can you see this uterine wall? It becomes very much thick, cushiony. It gets richly supplied with blood vessels so that it can provide adequate nourishment to the developing embryo for the rest of the 9 months. But in girls who are sexually inactive, or couples who are, I mean, women who are not indulging in any kind of sexual activity, or girls in whom the egg doesn't get fertilized during sexual activity, this egg simply waits for 24 hours and then it degenerates. And if egg is not getting fertilized, there's no scope of pregnancy further. If there's no scope of pregnancy, then the unfertilized egg, okay, the unfertilized egg, then this lining of the uterus, which is no more required, it begins to become thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner, and it finally breaks. So, this degenerating endometrium, that's the name, scientific name of the inner lining of the uterus. Okay, plus the mucus and the blood, it is all shed through this passage, vaginal passage, and this blood is nothing but we call it as menstrual blood. And then same, the uterine lining begins to develop. Meanwhile, another egg is being released. It waits for the sperm to come and get fertilized, and if it doesn't, again the uterine lining breaks. It shuts down in the form of menstrual blood. So this is the cycle which occurs repetitively every month. It is 100% natural biological process. It is nowhere impure, nowhere infectious. It is nowhere harmful, nowhere curse. It is 100% normal, 100% blessing from the Almighty God and people. So, yeah, let's thank Almighty for enabling women to experience the beautiful feeling of the world, that is to embrace motherhood, to become a mother. है ना? And that's it for the day, guys. I hope I have like fairly busted all the myths around menstruation. If you have any other question related to menstruation, menstrual taboo, menstrual cycle, anything like that, post me in the comment section below. And thank you so much for being a part of my session. If you really wish to become a part of Vedantu as well, hit on the link which has been put up in the description, which has also been put up in the pinned comment section. And don't forget to apply my coupon code, that's MACPRO, MAKPRO, MACPRO, because you will get additional discount. And what else should I say, people? Let's meet up in the next session. Till then, Allah Hafiz, Milo Wapis, and keep watching Vedantu. And you can reach out to me in the comment section as well as from the mail ID. That's it, people. Bye bye. Allah Hafiz. Take care.